Welcome, students. Nice to meet you again. I hope you're all in the thirst of learning. Let me quench your thirst by introducing a new topic in civics. The topic is Understanding Secularism, the second lesson in civics. My dear children, have you heard the word secularism? I think you are all familiar with this word. Am I correct, children? Okay. Now we shall discuss about this topic. What is secularism? Secularism means government or other entities. Entities means organizations which runs independently. So, secularism means government or other entities should exist separately from religion or religious beliefs. In other words, the government or organizations should not interfere in the matters of religion or religious beliefs. In other words, secularism is the view that there is no compulsion in religion. Citizens of a nation can follow any religion they wish. The concept of secularism has two basic meanings. First, separation of religion from the state. Already I have informed you that the state should not interfere in the matters of religion or religious practices. Second, respect for all religions on an equal basis. Government should give or it should treat all the religions equally. The basic foundation of secularism is separation of religion and state. Both the state and religion should not interfere among others' policy. Now, the concept of secularism is based on religion. Now we shall see what is religion. A religion is an organized system of belief and practices often centered on one or more gods. For example, in Christianity, Jesus Christ is the only one God. And in Muslim, that is in Islam, Allah is the only one God. But in Hinduism, we are praying so many gods and goddesses. Now let us discuss how secularism is in system in America. Observe the picture carefully, children. Which country's flag is this? Yes, it is the flag of United States of America. Why the Holy Book Bible is placed on the flag? This represents that Christianity is the powerful religion in America. Imagine that your relative is living in America. Can you guess to which religion they belong to? Yes, exactly correct. Islam. They belong to the religion Islam. In other words, we can say as non-Christians. They are in search of a house for rent. At last, they feel happy to see a house with the board for rent. But the owner of the house is a Christian. The Muslim couple is talking to the owner regarding the house. But the owner is not willing to give his house for rent. The reason is they belong to Islam. How would this make them feel? If they try to complain against this discrimination to the government, what would happen? go back to India or return to India, would this make them feel angry? Yes, naturally, this would make them feel angry. Their anger could take two different forms. What are the two different forms? Christians also should get the same treatment in places where Hindus and Muslims are in majority. No one should be discriminated based on religious practices and beliefs. Not only in America, history provides us with many examples of discrimination, persecution on the grounds of religion. The word persecution means arresting or imprison, beatings, torture, or put to death of people according to the law. I shall give you some examples for discrimination or persecution which happened in the past. During the rule of Hitler in Germany, the religious persecution occurred. Usually, Germany is a nation of Christianity. Hitler, the ruler, as a Christian, he killed several millions of Jewish people who were the followers of Judaism. It happened in Saudi Arabia also. In Saudi Arabia, all religious discrimination, in Saudi Arabia also, religious discrimination exists. In Saudi Arabia, non-Muslims are not allowed to construct a temple, church, and so on, and nor can they gather in public places for their prayers. In all of the above examples, members of one religious community either persecute or discriminate against members of other religious communities. These acts of discrimination take place more easily when one religion is given official recognition by the state at the expense of other religion. Let us learn about secularism in India. According to our Indian Constitution, individuals were given the right of freedom to live by their religious beliefs and practices as they interpret these. In keeping with this idea of religious freedom for all, India also adopted a strategy of separating the power of religion and the power of state. Secularism refers to this separation of religion from the state. Why is it important to separate religion from the state? The most important aspect of secularism is its separation of religion from state power. This is important for a country to function democratically. Almost all countries of the world will have more than one religious group living in them. Within these religious groups, there will most likely to be one group that is in a majority. If this majority religious group has access to state power, or if this majority religious group has attained the right to rule a state, then it could be quite easily use this power and financial resources to discriminate against and persecute persons of other religions who are in minority. What is the meaning of the term majority? A group of people who are greater than 50% of total population is considered to be the majority. Here look at the picture, children. The persons who are wearing red shirt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Among the 11 students or among the 11 persons, the persons who are wearing red shirt are 5. So these red shirt persons comes under the majority group. A section of group. Now we shall see the meaning of the term minority. A section or group of people which are less than 50% of total population in a particular region with less social, political, economic and cultural impact in society and are dominated by the majority are considered to be the minority. See the picture, children. Who is considered to be the least number? I think the person who is wearing yellow. So he is considered to be the minority group. Hence, majority has the power to run the government in a state. Already we have learnt about the tyranny of majority in America, in Germany and in South Africa. What is the meaning of the word tyranny? Cruel and unfair treatment, that is ill treatment by the people, those who have power. Tyranny of the majority. What are their characters or behavior? Majority rule is an instrument of working democracies. They had the power to rule a country. Justice. Their justice is based on what is sanctioned by the majority. What the majority group is telling, the minorities have to follow. However, majorities can be wrong. If we take into consideration the fact that in most states it is predominantly religious minorities that are being persecuted, it becomes clear that the only way to prevent religious persecution is to ensure the right to freedom of religion or belief for all, whether one belongs to majority or minority groups. The majority group plays a critical role in addressing the persecution of minorities. Here are some examples how minority suffers due to the majority. See the boards. In Pakistan, Hindus are in need of human rights, and they are also saying stop killing Hindus in Pakistan. Here the Christians, they are struggling. Stop discrimination against Christians of Pakistan. The people who are living in Pakistan, they are struggling. Stop attacking minorities. Here, who is the majority? The people of Muslims. They are the majorities. In order to put an end to these problems, the minorities also should be given importance by providing rights or by listening to their voice also. The Minorities Rights Day in India was first observed in the year 2013 and the date was said to be 18th December. This day is observed to preserve the rights of the minority groups in India. The day is also celebrated to bring better awareness and understanding about the religious minorities in the country. The true hallmark of democracy prevailing in the country is given by providing equal rights to minorities also. Minority rule, sorry children, majority rule with minority right. That means majority wins and they have the right to control the state or government, but they must hear the voice of the minority also. Now the second reason why is it important to separate religion from state. In democratic societies, we need to protect the freedom of individuals to exit from their religion, to embrace any other religion, or have the freedom to interpret religious teachings differently. To understand this point better, let us take the practice of untouchability. Untouchability, that means, though the word untouchability has not been defined in the Constitution, it generally refers to a practice followed by higher caste in society who look down upon the untouchables. In the past, the higher caste people, they ill-treated the lower caste people, that is the untouchables. Now we can see who were the untouchables. Already we have learnt about Dalits, also known as untouchables, or members of the lower social status group in the Hindu caste system. A Dalit is actually born below the caste system, that is lower caste, which includes the four primary castes of Brahmins, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. And the last one is the Dalit. Untouchables, Dalits, they cannot possess any wealth. Listen children, they cannot possess any wealth. They cannot get an education like the higher caste people. They cannot enter inside the Hindu temple or the places of worship. They cannot drink water from the public wells, or they cannot take water from the public wells. They cannot marry outside their caste. They cannot touch anyone from a higher caste. And they cannot argue or they cannot disobey upper caste demands. So, in this way, untouchables were ill-treated by the higher caste people. And in the year 1950, this untouchability, the practice of untouchability was banned. It is said Gandhiji recommended the father of the constitution, that is Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who acts as the law minister, and Gandhiji recommended Dr. Ambedkar, who has the right to draft India's constitution. And in this constitution, Gandhiji said that there should be no lower caste and all the persons should be treated equally, as Gandhiji recommended. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar also did what Gandhiji said. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, as the principal author of the Constitution, formally puts an end to untouchability under Article 17. Now this is a recall. We have seen two reasons. Now this is the recall. Why is it important to separate religion from the state? The countries in the world have more than one religion. In order to prevent the religious dominance of a particular religion, it is important to separate religion from state. Another reason that is important to separate religion from state in democratic societies is because we need to protect the freedom of individuals to exit from their religion or to embrace another religion or have the freedom to interpret religious teachings differently. Now we shall see how secularism is followed in India. Hinduism, Jainism, Buddhism, Sikhism, Islam, Christianity. So India is a country with so many religions. So in our India, people are allowed to follow any religion they wish. Indian secularism. In India, secularism means equal treatment of all religions by the state or government. All the people who belong to any religion are treated equally in India. The real concept of secularism is that state shall not impose any religion on people. It will not compel any religion on people, and it should pay equal respect for all religions. According to Indian constitution, the Indian state can be secular. That is, only a secular state can realize its objectives to ensure the following. The important concepts of Indian secularism are: one religious community does not dominate another religious community. Some members do not dominate other members of the same religious community. The state does not enforce or compel any particular religion nor take away the religious freedom of individuals. This is our Indian secularism. India as a secular state means that the government does not uphold any one religion. It gives equal importance to all the religion. All religions are considered equal in the Indian constitution. There is no religious discrimination. Government schools and offices, police stations, law courts are not allowed to promote any religion. So, they cannot celebrate any religious festivals in the government places. For example, we can see what is happening in the government school. A girl is asking to her principal, "Sir, there is a big religious month. We have never celebrated it in school. Can we do it this year? Shall we celebrate religious festivals?" The answer of principal to the girl is, "I'm afraid that this is not possible. This is a government school. We can't give importance to any one religion. Private schools may do that. Government schools don't celebrate any religious festivals in the school campus. Most religious festivals are public holidays so that we can celebrate these at home." Here is a conversation between a boy and the same girl in the class. The boy is saying, "I never thought of it this way. I guess we can always celebrate in outside of our school. Anyway, we are planning to celebrate in our locality, in their area." Another example. A group of friends who have recently bought scooters are meeting to go for a ride together. "Hey, I hope you have a helmet," You know, the law in Delhi requires that you must wear helmet. Why aren't you wearing a helmet? Do you want to be fined? If you are not following the rules of the government, you will be fined. The Sikh is answering, don't worry, I will not be fined. Hey Paramjit, why won't you be fined? What is the reason? Please explain to me. For Sikhs, wearing a turban is a very important part of our religious. It is a religious custom or a religious symbol. The government cannot force me or force our Sikhs to wear a helmet. Now, review of both the examples about that government school and about the two friends. The celebration of the religious festival within the school would have been a violation of the government policy of treating all religions equally. Government schools cannot promote any one religion either in their morning prayers or through religious celebrations. This rule does not apply to private schools. Now, the second example. Paramjit, the Sikh youth, does not have to wear a helmet. This is because the Indian state recognizes that wearing a turban is central or religious practice to a Sikh's religious practice, and in order not to interfere with this, government allows an exemption in the law. The Indian Constitution ban untouchability. Already I have informed that according to Indian Constitution, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar banned untouchability and he introduced that all the people should be treated equally and the state also should not interfere in the religious practices. In order to end a social practice that it believes discriminates and excludes and that violates the fundamental rights of lower caste who are citizens of this country. For this reason, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, through Indian Constitution, banned untouchability. Similarly, to ensure that laws relating to equal inheritance rights or respected, the state may have to intervene in the religion based personal laws of communities. Children, if there is a dispute or clash or fight between any two religions, at that time our government can involve in these matters to solve the problem between the two religious groups. Now we shall see the difference between the meaning of secularism in India and in America. First we shall see the secularism, how it is followed in America. The First Amendment of the US Constitution prohibits the legislature from making laws respecting an establishment of religion or prohibit the free exercise of religion. That is opposite to that of India. Nor they can give preference to one religion. In USA, the separation between state and religion means that neither the state nor religion can interfere in the affairs of one another. They should not interfere among each other. But what is the meaning of secularism in India? There is one significant way in which Indian secularism differs from the dominant understanding of secularism as practiced in the United States of America. This is because, unlike the strict separation between religion and the state in American secularism, in Indian secularism, the state can intervene in religious affairs. As already I told, if there is a clash or dispute between any two religious groups, at that time, our state or our government can interfere and solve the problem between the two religious groups. This is the only one difference between the secularism in America and India. Now, how secularism is followed in India? Respecting all religions, treating all the religious people equally, respecting and accepting religious views, or accepting their religious practices. All religions are equal. The government does not have power over religion, and there should be tolerance over other religions also. Anyone can follow any religion as per their wish. There is no official religion in India. All people, no matter of what their religion is, are eligible to vote. All religious practices can be followed in India. People can wear their religious symbols. What is a secular state? What are the features, important features of secular state? There is no official religion for the Indian state. All individuals and communities have freedom to profess, follow, practice, and propagate, spread any religion or not to follow any religion. It also prohibits discrimination on grounds of religion. All the religious people should be treated equally. The state may interfere in the matters of religion in order to ensure equality within religious communities. For example, it banned untouchability. I think children, now you are very much thorough about the topic secularism. Now we shall go on for activity. I have given two activities. Number one, how many religions are there in the world? Number two, list down the religions that is followed in India. Thank you children. See you again.